When we change our mindsets, we can change our outcomes. Save our lives from sadness, depression, and anxiety, thus giving us the freedom to live the life we want. Hi, I'm Stuart Haskin, founder of GetSafe, and your host of the Movement for Change podcast. Hi, I got Dr. Nina Cash back, Dave Monderine, and we're going to be talking about a little bit about GetSafe's history, as well as a bunch of safety tips for you. Those are always important, so please join us. Hi, welcome to Movement for Change. Today is our safety episode. I brought some backup. Dr. Nina Cash, and then Dave Monderine, who has been a training partner of mine for how many years?
Coming up on 16.
Oh my gosh.
16 years, friend of mine. We were in the trenches together at all levels, but we're just going to chat about some safety stuff today. And Dr. Nina Cash is an old-time supporter of GetSafe.
Hey.
And she's out and about a lot now with her new encoring career, which she can tell us quickly about.
Yes. Well, okay. Well, first of all, thank
quickly.
you so much for having me, Stu and Dave, on your podcast. This is quite cool. So I've been volunteering for GetSafe since 1999. So it's been 25 years, right? Longer than you, Dave.
I know.
Longer than you. And so super excited. I was a former associate dean. I just retired in 2022 from the California State University system, and now I have an encore career, modeling and acting. Go figure. I don't know, but it's all good.
And the big news?
Oh, the big news. Yes. I was just named one of Sports Illustrated swimsuit rookies for 2024.
Wow.
So I will be in the magazine in May 2024. And it's the 60th anniversary edition, you guys. 60th.
All right. Can we still buy paper products, or you have to order online?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you get both.
I know I'm old school.
Yeah,
I like both. I
Yeah.
like paper.
Yeah, totally.
So cool. That's super exciting. Dave, quick bio quickly on you.
Yeah, I'm just really, I've been part of GetSafe for, like you said, the last 16 years, almost 16 years. My background, martial arts and self-defense, worked in the service industry as a bartender for a bajillion years. But more than that, just being able to help people every day. So like I was telling Regina, I was teaching martial arts and self-defense, and then I was running classes by myself, just freelance, for bullying prevention and safety at different private schools around the area. And then my wife at the time, at the time we were friends, but she's my wife now. She's like, there's an agency in Orange County that'll pay you to do what you're doing. And I'm like, no!
You're like, what?
Wow. First of all, not a lot.
And it was a Craigslist ad. But yeah, so that's how I came to GetSafe, and I'm so grateful because every day I get to wake up and I get to help people. So super cool.
Yeah, I think what the room has here is the passion to help. I just had a lunch with a gentleman who has dedicated his life to helping. These individuals have dedicated their life to helping. And those are the things that, and I don't know, they ask, right? About safe. I mean, what do you love? And I love to help people be safe. I love, as you guys do, help people recover if they've had an incident of violence. And kind of that's what this podcast is about, because you keep seeing social media clips that are some pretty good and some need a little more coloring in. So I like the movement of what's going on about safety now.
You know what, Stu, I should clarify a little bit more too. Yeah. So I was an associate dean, but I have a bachelor's in human services and a master's in negotiation, conflict resolution, and peace building, and also a doctorate in educational leadership with an emphasis in higher education and adult learning.
What?
So I'm not just a bikini model. I want to make that clear.
Dave and I are hopefully getting through high school this year. We're a little late bloomers, but yeah, obviously.
I'll have my final
Yeah.
credits so I can walk in June. So yeah.
And we want to be bikini models, but no one has asked.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's obviously extensive knowledge of campus life, campus safety, but not just that, because you're traveling the world. You did it before getting an education, and those are the things that we talk about, street smarts, things that we see before something happens, and that's in being intuitive. I mean, I don't know if you have anything, Dave. I mean,
Yeah.
I know I can number of things I could saw. Something's happened before I saw it happen in my head, and then it happened. So I was able to do kind of safety protocols towards it. I mean, I don't know if you guys had those things happen.
Well, when I was working like on my own, I was teaching like I said, bullying prevention and whatnot, and even survivor safety, but I wasn't trauma informed at the time. When I first began doing that, I realized that the need was way beyond my abilities. So I needed to become educated. Now, my background, I've worked with young people most of my life, but it's a totally different thing when you become trauma informed. And I still have a lot to learn. As much as I know, I still have a lot to learn. But the working in a campus thing, like Regina, working in a campus, that there's so many challenges from working with students who are experiencing homelessness, people who are experiencing mental health issues, people who are experiencing emotional and physical distress, or people who are experiencing an intersectionality of all those things.
Can you just walk real quick what trauma-informed means?
Yeah. So if we're working with somebody who we know or we suspect is a survivor of sexual assault or domestic violence or human trafficking, for instance, being able to say to them, hey, we're going to help add tools to your toolbox rather than say, well, you woulda, coulda, shoulda done this to prevent your assault, which becomes victim blaming. We say, well, you shouldn't have worn this, or you shouldn't have walked out with that person, or you shouldn't have drank this thing, versus, no, that person shouldn't have assaulted you, which is really where the crux and where the focus ought to lie, on the perpetrator, not the victim.
Yeah, I'm gonna take off on that because we see a lot of things happen. What we do with our survivors who come into our course, many of them are very upset with the district attorneys, with law enforcement, because they have to ask and they don't present it properly, like in a trauma-informed way. They just say, hey, what were you wearing? Just because I need the details and this, instead of explaining, instead of front-loading. This is why I'm asking, because listen, we want to get that person off the street. We care about you. We're trying to build the strongest case that we can. And sometimes they miss that step. And I have a friend who's district attorney, and I asked him, sometimes why they don't prosecute cases. And he goes, we don't want to re-victimize the survivor, because if we don't have enough evidence, we can't win it, and they're going to go through all that, and then they're going to lose. And some people just want their day in court, which we get. But that makes a lot of sense.
Well,
what were you going to say, Regina?
I was going to say, so, I am a certified advocate for survivors of sexual and physical assaults, state certified. And, one of the things that, I did in my younger years was I volunteered for SART, which is the Sexual Assault Response Team. So this is in the city of Long Beach. And what we would do is, if there was ever a sexual assault, a volunteer from the SART team would go out and we would walk the survivor through what was going to happen next, right? Because it was really important. They needed someone who was an advocate for them. They needed someone who was going to be there and support them. Because just like Stuart says, we have a lot of folks, in safety, public safety, that don't have the tools, or they don't know how to help survivors or speak to them.
Or for somebody who's a survivor, that's the worst thing that's happened to them at that moment.
Right.
For the responder, it's a Tuesday.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
so
right.
like the idea of like, hey, this is that person's worst day. So maybe put your own thing on check just for a second to address this person's concerns in a way that's going to provide dignity and a response that's appropriate for them.
And the thing is, we don't want to, blame those people that are doing their job like on a Tuesday, because, we want to provide the tools to them. So we also train police officers, firefighters. We train
district
attorneys, school district folks. And, we talk about prevention. That's the thing, right? Prevention and also education is huge.
Well, and that's the thing that really, if I can speak honestly, that really chaps me, is the fact that prevention isn't sexy. So people often think it's not that big a deal until it happens. In other words, it's not a problem until it is a problem.
Yeah.
So because prevention and safety doesn't get the ink, what does is the assault or the issue at hand. So it's kind of an uphill battle, but that's part of the reason why we're here in this, not only as an agency of Get Safe, but also this podcast to help spread the word, create conversations about prevention, about advocacy, about things that are important to folks with disabilities, folks who are survivors with disabilities, people in the LGBTQ community, parents and caregivers, those who are being bullied, peace officers, dispatchers, like you mentioned, healthcare providers, people in healthcare agencies.
Well,
we just want to help everybody.
I'm going to go with, you're going to probably help me pronounce it. That's his job. sensualization or sensationism. What do they do? You know,
Sensationalize.
Yeah.
Sensationalize.
That was a very sibilant word, and I had no idea what you were
Just
saying.
make up your own words.
I even,
Make up your own words, Stu.
But here's what we're seeing that in social media, right?
Sensationalism. Don't hit me! Don't hit me! Don't hit me!
We send it in TikTok, right?
I know.
He's not going to hit you.
Oh, no.
This is safety.
Not until the camera's
Yeah,
off.
not till everything's off.
But yeah, we're seeing a lot of that in the TikTok clicks that everything goes to the worst case scenario, and they're not even showing what leads up, how the prevention part of it. So part of this podcast, we're going to be reviewing a lot of those clips. And again, like I said earlier, just to color it in, make it a little more clear, put a little act of prevention prior to getting in the front seat of your car and someone grabbing you, maybe look in the car. We'll just talk about all those things. But yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No.
So, Regina, Stuart, no matter what we talk about, it's always going to be with the idea of putting tools in people's toolboxes. Would you agree to that?
Agree.
Now, can we do that with a little soupçon of humor and fun, too, while we're doing it?
I have no idea what Chauchan.
Yeah.
I don't speak French,
Well,
but,
you don't even
but
know
that little pinch of
I
humor
don't even know what
and
Chauchan
fun.
means, let alone...
No, you know what? I have found that this is a very sensitive subject. It really is, sexual assault and stuff. And
Well,
for
assault
me,
or even safety.
safety,
because-
definitely. But you have to. For me, I have to have humor. I have to.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
to. I'm not making light of this subject. I just need to infuse humor because it just makes it a little bit more bearable.
That's part of our
Yeah.
Our shtick, basically.
gift or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's because we've walked into the worst rooms, emergency shelters.
Yeah.
Some have been guns to their head, some have been stabbed, some have been kidnapped. And if we come in there sad and saying, "Oh, this happens all the time. These are the statistics," we're going to lose them right away. We got to give them a smile. We got to. That's part of the recovery that we try and give them. Would you agree?
But we're not glib or flippant.
No.
We treat it with respect.
100%.
Oh, we treat them with respect,
Yes.
and we just chat, right?
Yeah.
And we're not saying that we go in there and we joke with the survivor right after it. That's not what we're saying.
No, this
we're
is
talking
a recovery
about,
class app.
We're talking about in our podcast, you're going to see us inject some humor and maybe a lot of humor.
But yeah,
Most of it's going to be aimed at me. Let's just be
Yes.
honest. I'm
Let's
going to be
be
the
real.
verbal pinata.
you're a big target over there, Dave. It's not our fault. That started.
Why am I the smallest in the room and I'm the biggest target?
That started in high school. That's not our fault.
With
that started
all
in band
the
class.
trash cannings I suffered.
Yeah, that was band camp. Let's be real. Band camp. Okay.
Remember
really
how to
blame us
march
for that,
8 to
so.
5. 8 to
Okay,
5.
stop marching. It's weird.
Well, this is great. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's gonna be
So,
fun.
how much time do we have left?
You're 120.
What is it?
120. But
Minute 20 left?
1 minute 20.
Okay,
So you
cool.
you can wind it up because we started
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stopped.
yeah.
So
That's our handsome tech guy, and he's over there. That's Aaron Cash, fantastic dancer, singer.
Extraordinaire.
Extraordinaire.
Yes. So let's leave with one safety tip.
Well, yeah, and before actually we do the safety tip, please, we'd like to remind you, like, comment, subscribe. Like every YouTube host, we always want to just make sure.
Do we tell
Follow
them to
us.
follow us in our comments?
Yeah, follow us, and
know
then
what that means.
and throw a question or a query in the comments. So like, hey, what about this? Or give us the what ifs that are important to you, and we'll look through them, and we'll find ones that are appropriate, and we'll address them.
Yeah.
Keep your notifications active so that when we drop a new episode, you're ready to receive it and learn some new stuff. So before we take off for today, I think, Stuart, Regina, I like the idea of a safety tip. So, Stu, what would you like to do? What safety tip would you like to
I
partner with people? Or Regina?
love safe. Scan, assess, forecast, execute. So that means when you get up, you start walking outside, take a little trip around the neighborhood, you scan the area, correct?
Yeah.
You assess for either possible dangers or possible no dangers. And then we forecast if this is a safe walk, we're cool. Then our execution is we continue our walk. But we do that over and over, and it just becomes part of our mindset. So it just keeps changing. So something could pop up right around the corner, and all of a sudden we feel that's not a safe. So my thing is the safe, scan, assess, forecast, execute, and then I'll close it with part of when Virginia can throw one in there. Remember, communication, connection equals safety. So when I'm walking out there, I communicate with people walking by me by saying maybe a hi. If I get a nice hi and I feel comfortable, that's a good connection. If I get a get lost jerk, and it's not a great connection, but it's still a connection, and then I'm going to move on my safety. All right, Regina, you got anything?
So I just like to say that Stuart doesn't listen to directions because Dave just said one and he gave you multiple, but I'm
My
just
show.
saying. No, my safety tip one for today is just always have your keys ready in your hand when you're getting ready to go into your car. Right? Just have them ready. Don't like put your purse on there and start digging things out. Just have your keys ready to get into your car. Also, before you get into your car, just look in the back seat, look in the front seat, and also look kind of behind your car and underneath quickly. I know it sounds really crazy.
So
Probably
is
people
that
are
two
looking-
safety tips? Or you're just adding?
Oh God! God,
I'm just
okay.
counting while you're, and I probably
And you did a good job on counting.
I know. Yeah. So
All right, Dave, last one.
So
You
Dave,
go.
last
We're gonna
one.
Wrap it up.
So Regina mentioned something very key, so to speak, which is to have your keys with you. But we don't want to do the Wolverine where we put our keys between our fingers and we think that we can stab people with a really fun little... No, that's an incomplete fist. We don't want to do that. Have your keys ready, like Regina said, perfectly, so that we can beep our car and get in, or we can unlock our car and get in quickly without somebody else getting in the other side. Or, like Regina said, fumbling through our computer bag or purse for the keys.
And also, lastly, Regina,
My God, he cut me off,
let
Stu.
me just kick your camera.
No!
No, the last thing is you remember you have an alarm on your key fob as well. So if their danger happens, you want to draw attention, press it. All right.
Okay,
The
my
safest thing
last
about-
thing, because he cut me off. Just when you have your keys, you could see the reflection in your window, so you could see if there's anybody behind you. That's
That's a
important
good one.
because it
That's
happened to
worthwhile.
me. So, okay.
All right.
Situational
Done.
awareness. Love it.
Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. As you can say, we have lots, or as you can see, we have lots to say. So we'll be back. Movement for change. Take care. Be safe.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to our podcast, Movement for Change. We hope that our discussion has left you with new perspectives and insights that can help you change mindsets and save lives. Please visit us at getsafeusa.com for resources, trainings, and if there's a topic you want to hear about or you have questions, please email us at info@getsafeusa.com. Together, we can make the change we want to see.